Good evening. I'm Bret Jesse, and this is my TYA final reflection. I saw everyone else handing in journals this week, and so I figured I'd do something just a little different with the video blog of what I thought, this process was for me. So we'll get started here with the very beginning, the writing. When you first assigned the project, and we got around to getting in our group, sitting down in the library, and really working on what we want to do, we came around to the idea of what kids really liked, which is playing with toys, just having an imagination, having a good time with whatever they had. The only worry we had when we got going here was that it was going to be too Toy Story-esque. And it ended up being a little bit like that when you were in our dramaturgy session talking about what was wrong with the script, what was right with it. Once we passed that speed bump and we found our own unique spin on this kind of a story, we really got to go work on characterization, which was a big thing for us because, after all, they were toys. They needed to have a unique sense of, what they were as toys. So we got around to the rehearsal process. Once we figured out a little bit of what our characters were going to be like, when we got there, we had a lot of trouble with blocking, physical humor, things like that. And, sometimes it's difficult to get shows like this down, because the fact is a long rehearsal project. It's completely fresh, and with over-the-top characters like Superhero who have to walk like that, it's hard to get down. Once we got out of the rehearsal process and we really started looking at what are we trying to say with this show, we had a lot of problems with the idea of magic on stage. David Wood talks about this in his textbook that you gave for us, and a lot of time it's a little hard to understand when he gets around to it. What we took from it when we talked about it in class was the costumes, the setting that we had, some of the lighting we could do maybe. None of that ended up really working, so we got around to the costumes, which were a big thing. We figured that if we could make them as animated as possible, as dynamic as possible, that would ultimately, bring some real life to these characters. And it did. When we got down to the schools and the kids saw some of these costumes, they lost their minds. See? I'm magic. But as I was saying, when they got on stage, the kids lost their minds. When they saw a superhero, a huge princess, and a panda, life-size, they lost it, and we loved every second of it. Also, when it comes down to stage magic for us, a lot of it came from some of the sound effects that we did, to also some of the ways that we use audience participation. Now, David Wood kind of talks about both sides of audience participation and how it can work and how it can't. One of the things that we actually discussed during the week was creating chaos out there. That was my personal favorite. When I got to go out into the crowd and disobey what the kids wanted to see and had them screaming and yelling, saying, your toys are behind you, they're way back there, they're over there. Loved it. Every minute on stage during that was so much fun. Overall, when we get down to the bottom line of what this performance really was to us, it was our opportunity to see what TYA meant to us, what acting for kids was, get a taste of it, see where it would lead us, that kind of thing. When I think about it as a future, I look at it as an education standpoint. Being a teacher, hopefully in the future, this was a big experience for me to learn what I like about this profession, what I can do with the kids, and what kind of reactions I can get, some of the tips and tricks I can use. And I actually learned quite a bit from that. Being able to, reach out to the kids and say, what do you think? And being able to react to that was a big thing for me. Using the stage magic was also, again, something I can use in the classroom that can really blow their minds, keep their attention on me during the day, and ultimately just make the kids happy. I know when I was a kid, I didn't want to go to school. I got picked on a lot, that kind of thing. Didn't want to go. But as soon as a teacher came along and they were fun, exciting, energetic, like we got to be on stage, that's when I got hooked, and that's when I want them to get hooked. Is when I can take this kind of a performance, take it into the classroom and show kids this is what you can be if you are energetic, exciting, happy, and ultimately just try and have fun. But in the end, I'm proud to say that we created Toy Box. We performed it to the best of our ability, and I was really happy with the show and what everyone thought of it. And just to finish off here, I'd like to tell you a story of what happened during the last show. At Nicholas Share, when I was leaving, I had one of the kids from camp that I was working with over the summer. She actually found me in the hallway, gave me a huge hug, and told me how excited she was to see that kind of a play, and how much it meant to her to see, a friend of hers up on stage and performing like that. She loved it, the other kids loved it, and bottom line, that's what I want to do with my life. So thanks for listening, and I'll see you next semester, hopefully.